Hello and welcome to the 14th day of February 2023. Yes, it is Valentine's Day and I'm saying a very, very happy and Merry Valentine's Day to you from wherever you're watching from. Mr. Victor Sioku is the person once again to look at the papers with me once again for today. Sir, how do you do?
Very fine.
How are you enjoying your Valentine's Day?
Really good. There's peace.
So how do you hope to spend your Valentine's evening?
Go be with my family.
Okay. So today we'll be starting first by looking at the Guardian newspaper, where we have interesting headlines. This one says on page 3, Valentine's Day. Google Trends show Nigeria leads in search for love in 2023. Okay, that's a very funny one there. Valentine's Day, Google Trend shows Nigeria leads in search for love in 2023. Okay, and on page 13 we have unloaded gun. Church restates commitment to peace. Unloaded gun. Church restates commitment to peace. Okay, and on page 6 we have police claim Oduduwa agitators amassing weapons to disrupt polls. Okay, police claim Oduduwa agitators amassing weapons to disrupt polls. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And this one here says, again, Buhari meets Emefiele, keeps mom on Naira swap. Again, Buhari meets Emefiele, keeps mom on Naira swap. And lastly, here we have Rivers purchase of Kidney Island. Stakes in OML 11 irreversible. Court tells SPDC. Rivers purchase of Kidney Island. Stakes in OML 11 irreversible. Court tells SPDC. Okay, that's the much you can take in the Guardian newspaper for today. You want more details on the headlines you heard, get a copy of the paper for yourself. Mr. Victor, please, I would like to get your reaction to Nigeria being the highest searchers for love in this year. It's a funny.
And I'm sure you are part of them.
Looking for love.
And I'm sure you are one of them.
Oh, I don't think I'm one of them. No.
What do you mean? Serious?
I'm not one of them.
You're not a man of love.
I'm not a man. I don't want peace. I'm a man of peace. I'm a man of love. I'm one of war.
So it's really, really interesting. I had to stress it. Really, really interesting. The Nigerians are looking for love.
Wow.
Okay.
Why are you laughing?
Yeah, come on, it's not comedy, man.
Is it wrong to look for love?
It's not.
Everybody wants to find love.
So why am I laughing so much? You ask me. Is it the same intellect that Nigerians are being scammed for love? Is it the same internet? I'm sorry, I'm not here to bring down the values of my countrymen and my countrywomen, but there is so much distrust. There is so much cheating ongoing on the internet space. Then when you bring love together, mind you, there is a sector of yahoo. Oh God, I'm not here to wash down Nigerians, but there is a business area of yahoo called dating.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me just go as just make this analysis as simple as I can. Okay, now mind you, the issues here, and they are big issues. Nigeria is a good business for love. When you come and talk about dating apps, Nigeria should be one of the best in the world, because our religion and our culture allows us to date, to mingle.
Okay.
So that means dating apps and using going through dating business is big business in Nigeria. Okay. And considering our population, and mind you, more than half of our population are using the internet. About 122 million Nigerians use the internet, and about 40 million Nigerians use smartphones. So if we have such access of 122 million Nigerians using the internet, that should tell you that dating, internet dating, should be big business. But unfortunately, it's not big business in Nigeria. And you ask me why. One of the major reasons why dating apps isn't good for business in Nigeria is that most Nigerians use dating apps to do sex transactions. So it has turned to, in quotes, in our parlance here, we call, oh God, no, I don't want to use this word here, but it is more like the usual thing that dating apps are used to transact sexual businesses. But in the Western world, these apps make so much money. Apps like Tinder, apps like Badu, they bring in millions of dollars. The last time I checked, Badu was getting a revenue of $300 million. So much money for the government. So much. You can create tax, you can pull out tax from there, you can pull out number of jobs out of that. But in our case, most of our indigenous apps are not functioning. In fact, even the Badu and the Tinder are being used to transact. So, you now ask, okay, I'm talking about Tinder and Badu in the US and the bigger countries. But we should have, or although we have our tech guys that have developed dating apps, but majority of them have failed. And you ask, why have they failed? Aside,
tell me one aspect, please.
No, they are not functional. They are not making money. They are running losses.
Okay.
So you ask, why has this happened? Why is it happening this way? Remember that in many cases, these top dating apps, they make their monies through subscriptions. In Nigeria, we already have the culture. In as much as, yes, we are a poor nation. I'm sorry, some person might not want me to say in that way, but when you check our indices, you find out that we are a poor country. But aside being poor, you find out that many Nigerians love free things.
Free.
And dating apps make their money through subscriptions. So what do? They give you the free mode, and in the free mode, let's say for instance you are dating,
there are certain features you can access
exactly
in the free mode.
But Nigerians, we are already cool with suffering and smiling. So
Facebook free moders. People do Facebook on free mode for 1 month, and
some people can even go 1 year. They don't care.
I think Uncle Mark needs to look into that, and
Sorry, I'm laughing. You put me into this laughing. Sorry, you put me into. But these are serious. There are serious issues.
Yeah.
Okay, like somebody. If I go political now, you'd be like, they say that they use poverty, okay, to win over the masses. They've impoverished Nigeria so that they can do their biddings. I mean, the politicians. But that aside, now, why would dating businesses work in Nigeria when you cannot pay for subscriptions? So how will they feed? How will they feed their family? How will they pay salaries? How will they pay for internet and all that and hosting of their sites? Do you get?
Yeah.
So, but in general, love in Nigeria, unfortunately, is not. In fact, Nigeria, we retract things a lot.
It's almost like
so love is not even love in this country.
Yeah, it's almost like
unfortunate. It is business.
Yes, love is business in Nigeria. It's not love.
Sorry, but
you're looking for love in this country.
I'm sorry. Some people might be against. Might be very hard on us, serious. But no, I'm not just trying to also say that
you might get lucky.
It never exists.
Yeah.
It exists. There are people out there, both male and female. And this, I'm not talking about just male. I'm not also just talking about female. There is so much distrust and jobbing that is happening in the space of love.
Under the umbrella of love.
Yes. So, but happy Valentine's Day. It's supposed to be a time to share, not just about a relationship and a man and woman or boy and girl thing. It is a time to show love to people. Nigerians are going through a lot right now. Is it fuel scarcity? Is it naira? There was a poll. You are taking me back to the laughing mood. But there was a poll that I saw on the internet that they were like, what do you want for Valentine?
Somebody say fuel.
Fuel and the new naira. We are going through a lot this year, and economically, if you find out, if you go to the street, back in those days, you go to the street and you find red everywhere. People are shops are selling their flowers, selling their wares. Okay, I don't know what happened today, but I'm on such color or close to such color. But you find out that economically, the business of love has really gone down. Okay, by now they'll be seeing cakes flying up and down. You go to the internet, you see. But yeah, although yes, you still go to the internet to see such things, but it has really reduced. And many a times, yes, I'm coming back on the distrust aspect. Some persons, some ladies, especially ladies, they go to the internet now, go to Instagram, buy things for themselves, even rent things for themselves, do video. Oh my love,
see, they're very funny people, though. And some people who don't know what's going on will start saying, "Hey, God, when? No, God, when?"
But yes, it's really will I say sad, but yeah, unfortunate. But we move on. Happy Valentine's
happy Valentine's
to our viewers,
to Nigerians, to everyone watching this video around the world. Okay, we're moving straight now to our next paper, which is the Vanguard newspaper. We have more interesting headlines here. This one says, El Rufai, I no longer believe in leadership quality around Buhari. I no longer believe in leadership quality around Buhari. El Rufai is saying on page 5 there in the Vanguard newspaper. And on page 8, we have grazing reserves. Grazing reserves. Lands belong to God, not you. Sultan tells governors. Grazing reserves. Lands belong to God, not you. Sultan tells governors. That's on page 8 of the Vanguard. And on page 19, we have manufacturers spend 649 billion naira on raw materials imports. Manufacturers spend 649 billion naira on raw materials imports. Okay, that's on page 19 on the Vanguard. And in the world of sports, on page 31, we have under 20 AFCON. Flying Eagles storm Egypt for 8th title. Flying Eagles storm Egypt for 8th title. Okay, that's on page 31. On page 6, we have Lagos orders inquest into death of Chrisland school pupil. Whitney. Right, that's on page 6. A sad one there on page 6. In the health, we have on page 22. Valentine's Day. Share love, not HIV. Valentine's Day. Share love, not HIV. NACA. NACA boss charges Nigerians. Share love and not HIV. That's on page 22 there in health. NACA boss charges Nigerians.
You are telling this
okay.
to a comedy session.
Okay. And on page 13 we have more anti-graft CSOs join Bawa must go protest. More anti-graft CSOs join Bawa must go protest. Okay, that's on page 13. On page 13 again we have polls. Federal government shuts polytechnics. Polls. FG shuts polytechnics. Okay, and on page 12 we have Atiku cancels Rivers presidential campaign rally over face-off with Wike. Atiku cancels Rivers presidential campaign rally over face-off with Wike. That's on page 12 there in the Vanguard. And on page 27 we have banks reject old naira notes as queues persist at ATMs. Banks reject old naira notes as queues persist at ATMs. Buhari Emefiele meet again in Aso Rock. POS operators lament impact of cash crunch. Okay, that's on page 27. And lastly, for today in the Vanguard on page 12, again we have Rivers purchase of Kidney Island, stakes in OML 11 irreversible, court tells SPDC. Okay, that's the much you can take in the Vanguard. You want more details on the headlines that you heard, get a copy of the Vanguard for yourself. Mr. Victor, what do you have to say on El Rufai's, him saying that he no longer believes in leadership quality around Buhari. How do you react to that from Rufa?
It's about 11 days to go, so the tensions are high.
Yes,
really high. And well, in all this, I just pray that we don't experience more deaths. Okay, in all this, because the way this politics is been going since Saturday, we've been hearing information about this attack or that attack. So what happened with the Labour Party in Lagos State? So what happened in River State here? So what happened about 3 weeks ago in one of those regions in outskirts of Rivers? I can't pinpoint the particular location, but the youth leader of the PDP of the Atiku Okowa was shot dead. Okay, so these are big issues right now. I understand Rufa is about his interest, but the real issues now is that Nigerians are dying. The law enforcement are doing almost nothing about it. Have you heard a situation whereby these culprits are being held? But the other day,
it's now almost like they are just comfortable about the whole situation, so they are doing next to nothing about it.
Yes, and these top politicians, they are just only about their interest. While the lower politicians and the masses are dying. So he's coming out to say that he's not attacking the president as in from where he rephrased, that he's not attacking the president, but that the people around him, that is the cabals, are the ones tarnishing his image. Okay? But if you also go down to history lane, you find out that he might also, in quote, have a point. But yeah, let me just narrate what he said. Mind you, during the last convention, during the past convention, the APC convention that they used to get their presidential candidates, if you can remember vividly, Emefiele was touted to become a presidential candidate. In fact, some farmers, in quote, went together to buy a form for him, 100 million naira worth of form, presidential form, okay, of the APC. Now, why am I bringing that news out? Because El-Rufai, which is the current governor of Kaduna State, came out to say that it was the cabals that arranged for Emefiele's form because they wanted to make him the president of the country. That's one side. He also mentioned that the Senate president, Ahmad Lawan, was also sponsored by the cabals to make him the president. And remember, the Senate president was marked as Buhari's favorite through the APC national chairman. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
Before the APC presidential primaries. So what is he saying? He's saying that there are people out there that do not support the candidate of Tinubu because they never sponsored it, they never supported, they never wanted him. That even...
So are they saying Tinubu was forced on them?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, yes. And that the same cabal are now the ones bringing out this Naira policy, trying to also cause chaos in the petroleum industry.
Okay. That
has spiked the price. Now making Nigerians to feel angry with the leadership of Buhari.
Okay, that's APC.
APC. And lastly, that they also want an interim government. Meaning that the election will not hold, or even if the election will hold, they will cancel the election and they will have an interim government. These are his own analysis. But I'm here to also tell him that, see, aside this election, Nigerians also need to live a life. We don't want an election. They should stop inciting violence in our land. These top politicians, when it's not favoring them, they find ways to cause problems. Look at what is happening in River State right now. I tell you, my brother, it's becoming a den of violence. Why am I saying this? The governor came out just recently to stop the PDP, in quote, his family, because he has not left them. Stopping the PDP presidential candidate of using the Amesi Amaka Stadium. We heard what happened. After a while, he reversed his decision from stopping them. But the same articles group went to a location in Transamade to clear up a piece of land where they will use for their convention. Yes, for their campaign rally. Yes, the governor said that it's the property of the River State's property. Okay. But what then also happened? During the talk of, oh, this is the government property, this is not the government property.
Talk of what?
There was shootings that I think, you know, well, let me make this statement. I think Shekibo, which is the chairperson of the campaign group of the Atiku Okowa's Atiku Okowa. So you find out that on that night that was reported that Shekibo went to the ground, that I'm quoting Lee Meba, that is part of the Atiku Okowa PCC group. Lee Meba made the statement, that's the former senator from Ogoni. He made the statement that it was the government police and were the ones that shot Shekibo's vehicle. Well, in politics, like I'm just making these narrations. Remember that these people also can lie.
Definitely.
Both from left to the right. They can just throw out lies to cause confusion, to incite people. Yes. So at this point, I don't even trust anybody. Both the governor, both the other party, I don't trust them, because at the end of the day, let's not also forget that these are Nigerians. Are you getting me, Mr. Sirio? Okay. So we've heard what Rufa has said, but in all, they should have the mind, they should have the people at heart, knowing that at the end of the day, if everybody run away from this country, they will not have anybody to do it.
So you see Rufa's statement as an attempt to further demarket APC in the coming elections. Not
demarket APC. Okay. He's trying. Yeah, some people will say that there is an infighting, but we cannot even shy away from it. In as much as the president has also been coming out to join the APC's campaign rallies, okay, but you are still seeing this infighting. Okay, come to even think of it. What is even happening with the naira right now? Some banks are collecting, some banks are not collecting. What is happening to the fuel crisis? It is still ongoing, especially in the southern part of this country. Big issues, my brother.
Okay, thanks for staying tuned. We'll go on a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll continue from where we start. Please stay tuned.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Thavtv Media give life to your dreams. Thavtv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Okay, you're welcome back. Still on the newspaper review here on Thavtv. We'll be looking now at our last paper for the day. Today's last paper is a surprise inclusion to the mix of papers we usually have. I know some of you will be surprised that we shall be looking at the new Telegraph. Okay, the new Telegraph. Okay, and we have interesting headlines here. This one says, military ready to ensure election holds nationwide, according to CDS. You can get more of that headline on pages 2, 3, and 28 of the new Telegraph. I go again. Military ready to ensure election holds nationwide. That's according to CDS on pages 2, 3, and 28. On pages 4, we have here PMS crisis. PMS crisis. Western zone marketers cry out over price discrimination. PMS crisis. Western zone marketers cry out over price discrimination. Okay, that's on page 4 of the new Telegraph. This one says terrorism. Nigeria mocks US, UK over travel advisories. Terrorism, Nigeria mocks US, UK over travel advisories. That's on page 2. This one says on page 29, court to Shell. Don't interfere with Rivers' control of assets. OML 11. That's court saying to Shell. Court saying to Shell, don't interfere with Rivers' control of assets. OML 11. Okay, more of that headline is on page 29 of the New Telegraph. On page 29 again and 30, we have insecurity. No stay at home during elections, according to IPOB. No stay at home during elections. That's IPOB saying there on pages 29 and 30. And lastly, here in the New Telegraph, we have Lagos orders coroner's inquest into Chrisland's school's pupils' death. Lagos orders coroner's inquest into Chrisland school pupils' death. Okay, that's on page 7 of the New Telegraph. That's the much you can take in the New Telegraph. You want more details, get a copy of the papers for yourself. Mr. Victor, shortly before we call it a day on the newspaper review today, please, I'd like to get your reaction on this very, very catchy headline here about the Chrisland pupils' death. That's Whitney. I think that's her name, Whitney. So what do you have to say concerning that headline?
It's really a sad one, because coming from the side that Nigerians go through a lot to raise their kids, okay? For you to raise your child.
Not just Nigerians, I think it's a general thing.
Well, it's a general
thing. Child, generally, it's not easy.
Yes, but when you also look at how...
In Nigeria.
Oh.
Someone said, as a human being, if you are being born into a country like Nigeria, life is already leading you 1-0. And then if you are broke, if you don't have money, it's 2-0.
So
okay.
It's really sad. Why am I saying this? Because some parents, you see, out there take their, because Chrisland is a big school. But if they also tell you how some parents toil to make sure that their kids gets the best education, because let's face the fact, our public schools are dead. Okay, so for a parent to push through and make sure that their child in this kind of school, and all of a sudden they bring back your child dead, it is not an easy thing to deal with. Now, one might be like, oh, all these big schools, that's where the children die. Let me also tell us out there that even in the public schools, the small schools in the deepest part of Bayelsa,
it happens everywhere.
It happens. Kids just die. So in this case, the report is that the child died during inter-house sports. Okay? Let's also not forget about Sylvester.
Yes.
That died, in quote, out of bully. But in his own case, Sylvester's case, can you imagine until date, no document has been released to the actual cause of his death.
It's now looking like the whole matter has been swept under the carpet.
They've gone to court, but they are not.
But that's so sad. It's so sad.
Strong documents to state how this has happened. I pray it does not happen with Whitney this time around.
It's so sad.
But in all, I still this is not a time to blame the school. Yes, the school has gone. This is the second time they are going through this kind of tough time. But it's really not easy. Yes, some schools, they do a whole lot of mistakes and all that. But I think the major part of these issues lies on the government. One, why did I also mention government? Because we have strong policies in this country, but the problem is how to implement those policies.
Okay.
There are policies about how to take care of children in schools. All these things are written documents, they are out there. But in many cases, they are not being implemented.
So if the report is saying she died during inter-house sports, then questions begin to come up like, wasn't she feeling well before or during the inter-house sports? Was she forced, even while she was sick, was she forced into competing or doing some strenuous work in the inter-house sports?
And you might also ask, what is the level of medical facility they have in the school? Do they have a clinic?
Okay. Okay.
Why are we asking these questions? Because it is a big school. But what about our local schools that they don't even have chairs to sit on? That sometimes you see a school, they just use board to demarcate their classes. I mean, wicked boy. In fact, sometimes they even use wrapper or clothes to demarcate these schools. How can such school even have a paracetamol? How can such school even have the smallest first aid kit in case of an emergency in that school? So let's not just only be dwelling on these big schools. We need those stories that they have killed. You know, when these things happened, when it happens to big schools, it tends to trend because it's a big story.
Big school, yeah.
But when it happens to these smaller schools, go to the north. What our children are facing out there. Lastly, culture in this country is also eating up discipline in our schools. Yes. Why am I saying this? When you go back home to our houses, find out that parenting is not an easy thing. No two ways about that. We should not take it away from us. But you find out that bad parenting is also causing us so much harm in school. Exactly. Because many children are facing a whole lot of issues in school, but they are not able to tell us because of the way we've been parenting them. Yes. Secondly, bullying is ongoing in school, and children that are causing all this bullying, in many cases too, they learnt bullying from the home. Maybe their father bullies their mom, maybe their mom bullies their help. All those things. And most of the times, I think issues, man. The major reasons why some children find it difficult to voice out to their parents, even when they are being bullied, is as a result of the fact that they'll start thinking like, okay, what if I even if I tell my mom, I tell my dad, they won't believe me. Yeah, I think it's like that. They'll be like, okay, no, this boy, I'm going to school to go and play and stuff like that. They won't believe me. It could be, and it's a sad one. It's sad that we've lost too many innocent souls, too many innocent pupils to recklessness in school management and all of that. And we pray that things get better in the future. Okay, so this is to our Nigerian schools, both the private ones. Please up your games. Seriously, all this news of death cases here and there, it's becoming alarming. The school environment is supposed to be an environment where students come to, apart from the fact, okay, they are there to learn, they should get refreshed, to not to come and then lose their lives. Pay good attention to the health of your students, okay, so that they would end up going home alive to the parents who brought them to school. All right, so that's the much we can take on today's episode of the newspaper review. Thank you so much for sticking with me up until this time, because without you we would not be here. Mr. Victor Sioku, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate you. And happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, and happy Valentine's Day to you watching me from wherever you are in the world. My name is Cyril Aloysius. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe, and you can follow us on all our social media platforms. On YouTube, we're Thavtv on YouTube. On Instagram, we're Thavtv_NG. On Facebook, we're Thavtv. And on Twitter, we're Thavtv. It's a bye for now. Until we come your way again next time, to enjoy the rest of your day.